emergency away from financial upheaval. I offer on the issue of housing, which is one of the biggest challenges that we are not talking about in our country today. The 99%, as I shared earlier, 99% of the county's minimum wage workers can't afford market rate for one-bedroom apartment. I am suggesting and offer you a proposal that we change the tax bill so that if an individual is paying more than 30% of their income in rent plus utilities, they receive a tax credit of up to $6,000. I am offering you a proposal, and part of why I care about issues like that is, serving as Attorney General of California, it was right after the Wall Street sneezed and everybody else got a cold, and the misconduct by the five big banks of the United States, including predatory lending and those mortgage-backed securities that caused homeowners around our country to lose their homes. Iowa was devastated as much as any state, and I did battle with the five big banks of the United States, and ended up for the homeowners of California bringing back $20 billion, but not without a fight. But part of what I would offer you is that the analysis will be about who has a track record of actually getting things done, because it's fine to have good ideas, but this is a moment in time where we need people with good ideas who actually know how to implement ideas. And so I would offer that to you as well.
Straight back from me, beard. Yep. Yeah.
Yes. Few beards in the room.
I'm trying to think of distinguishing characteristics when I'm calling on people halfway across the room.
Thank you, Senator Harris, for coming. My name is Tom, and I would like to ask you about foreign policy. You talked about the dignity of all human beings. Why does the American government treat a Yemen child different than an American child? And how would your foreign policy, what would your foreign policy be like in America?
That's really great, Tom. Thank you. Well, first, it is my intention to not conduct foreign policy by tweet. On foreign policy, we have, as a country, we have to lead with our values. Part of the strength that we have had, especially in our relationship with our allies and adversaries, part of the strength we have had is we fight for values such as human rights and civil rights and freedoms. We hold ourselves out to be a country that prioritizes those values for ourselves, and it is in those priorities that we can then have legitimacy when we talk about what should happen in other countries. So let's start with also understanding that what we do at home will be a reflection of our strength when we form opinions or engage in discussions with what other countries are doing. So we can start there. And I intend to lead in a way that values those priorities around human rights, equal rights, and freedoms, including freedom of the press, including freedom of So there is that piece of it. There is the piece of it that is about conducting foreign policy in a way that we also understand that it is in our best interest. And by the way, when we're talking about our best interest, bottom line is always going to be about national security. I am a career prosecutor. I have spent almost my entire career being concerned with other people's safety. I have personally prosecuted every kind of crime you can imagine. And I will always conduct foreign policy in a way that has first and foremost our national security as a priority, but also understanding that coexistent with that priority should and can be, but having strong relationships with our allies, and having respectful relationships with our allies, and having honest relationships with our allies. And we have seen an administration that has thrown all of that out of the window, and with a unilateralism approach that is not in our best interest. So it is also about creating and conducting foreign policy in a way that understands that we are stronger when we stand together with our allies on so many issues, including Yemen, including Syria, including what we are doing in terms of dealing with North Korea. You could go down the list, including NATO and our allies there. Not to mention what we need to do in terms of cybersecurity and climate change. So we have to lead with our values, and we also have to conduct ourselves in a way that is about really being a leader and understanding. An attribute of a truly strong leader is understanding that it is a display of strength to work with the friends when we can. And I guess the final point is this. I would read the briefing books. So that's funny, and thank you for laughing, but it is also, but in all seriousness, it is about also understanding that we can't conduct foreign policy without understanding the significance of the power of our words as the United States of America. Whenever we stand in any of those places, most recent example being Munich, our words carry an incredible amount of weight. Our gestures carry an incredible amount of weight. And one cannot walk then into those rooms as a superpower, unequipped to own the importance and the significance of our power. And that means studying issues. It means surrounding oneself with experts. It means consulting with the generals and consulting with diplomats and people at the State Department and hiring people into the State Department. And then leading with our values so that we treat the children of other countries and then communicate our interest in making sure the children of other countries are treated as we would treat our own. Thank you.
Thank you. First, Namis sent us a lotus flower. And I'm a retired physician. And as a retired physician, I actually took care of many patients who didn't have health insurance. And I'm very concerned that we do get to Medicare for all. Right now, 55% of all insurance is being paid for by private industry. And you are always criticized by the right for not presenting a plan of how you're going to pay for Medicare for all. My question is, what do you think about a plan where private industry continues to pay for their portion of Medicare for all, and over a 10 or 20-year period, you slowly decrease that as you slowly increase the taxes on the top 2 or 5 or 10%?
Thank you for that. So, in my vision of Medicare for all, there would be a phasing in of it. And there would still be the option to have private insurance for the purposes of supplemental coverage. So that's the bottom line. But on the issue of paying for, again, I go back to this point, and I think it's a very important point about investment. The more we invest in health care, the more we invest in the ability of every American to have access to health care, the more we'll save. I mean, literally there's a return on investment in terms of the money that we put into this healthcare system. Paying for prevention instead of paying for emergency room visits. And the other piece of that, though, that I would also mention that is about what we're paying for and what we would not pay for is the cost of drugs and the drugs that people need. The pharmaceutical companies have been gouging us, guys. They've been gouging us. Look at it in terms of the fact that 1 in 4 diabetes patients in America cannot afford their insulin. You look at it in terms of the EpiPen. Remember how much everybody was being charged for a critical instrument to save a child's life? You look at it in terms of some of the best drugs that are available to deal with someone who is ODing off of opioids, and that syringe can cost up to $1,000. There is a system that has developed in this country over many years, and frankly, and I hate to be cliche about this, frankly, because of the power of the lobbyists with some pharmaceutical companies, where they have been allowed to reign and dictate prices in a way that has been about promoting their profit incentive and not promoting the public health of the American public. And we're literally paying the cost for that in terms of lives and health outcomes, as well as paying out of pocket. And the last point there would be with Medicare for All. When fully achieved, everyone would be in the system, and then we can negotiate as a big group against the pharmaceutical companies to bring down those prices. And we're paying a huge cost for that right now that we would not when we bring down those prices. So I appreciate that.
I'm a junior in high school, and I'm terrified for the future of our Earth. As a member of the fearful youth generation in our country, I ask you, what actions do you plan to take on climate change?
I don't want you to be fearful, but I do want what you've already decided to do, which is be active. It's really great you're here. Really great. Because you are going to help lead us into where we need to go, and we need to listen more to you. So the plan includes, I am a supporter of the goals of and the concepts behind the Green New Deal. I think that we have to understand that climate change is presenting an existential threat to us. I mean, I was just in, okay, you're gonna allow me to say this, I was just in New Hampshire. Exactly, I know. I knew I might be stepping into it, but if you'll forgive me. But in Manchester, we have to, just as there are many places around our country that will be underwater, literally be underwater within a short period of time. And we've got to take this therefore seriously, which is the imminence, the urgency of this matter. And there are a number of things we can do. Because when we look at the issue of climate change, for the most part, human beings are at fault. And human beings can correct this. And we can adjust our behaviors without very much impact to our daily routines. And again, the return on that investment is profound. So I have a number of points. One, we need to build up to a place where we are reducing our reliance on fossil fuels. Greenhouse gas emissions are the greatest contributor. We need to appreciate what we have to do around understanding that water is a precious commodity that we are at risk of losing. When we talk about this inflection moment in our country, even if the outcome of November 2016 had been different, we would be still looking at an inflection point in the history of the world. We're looking at ascending and descending economies. We're looking at population shifts. We're looking at automation and industrial revolutions that are happening. There's a lot of stuff happening on our globe right now. And when you look at the issue of population shifts, part of it is because of climate change. And so what's happening is populations are moving into places they weren't, and you will see wars as a result of that. You will see tension, you will see conflict as a result of that. And part of that is the issue of water. And I'm just going to get into the dirty detail of water. Right? So water is something we know we need for our agricultural industry. We know we need to grow the fruits and vegetables upon which we rely. Part of my goal of what we do about climate change is having smarter water policy. And in particular, diversifying water policy in a way that we are putting investments in what we need to do around conservation and recycling and storage of water and capturing water and desalination. And guess what? By doing this work, by investing in renewable energies, Iowa's doing an incredible job with that. what we need to do around wind turbines. This will be also about jobs. Back to the